The most well-known playback vocalist in Bollywood history, Lata Mangeshkar was born on September 28, 1929, in Indore. For more than 50 years, she performed on records of many genres for actors, including Nargis and Preeti Zinta, ghazals, pop, etc. The Guinness Book of World Records named her as the most recorded performer in the world with at least 30,000 solo, duet, and chorus-backed songs recorded in 20 Indian languages between 948 and 1987, until the 1991 edition, when her listing vanished. Today, that quantity may have risen to 40,000. She was born the daughter of Dinanath Mangeshkar, a well-known classical vocalist in his own right and the proprietor of a theatrical business. Aman Ali Khan Sahib and Amanat Khan, two well-known vocalists, were also among the instructors Lata had singing lessons from when she was 5 years old. She showed early musical talent that was a gift from God and was able to first-time master voice exercises. Ironically, she entered Bollywood at the worst period for someone of her size, in the 1940s, when bass singers with nasally, strong vocals, like Noor Jahan and Samshad Begum, were popular. Due to perceptions that her voice was weak and high-pitched, she was turned down for a number of projects. Her father passed away in 1942, and the timing of her introduction into the field was equally unfavorable. She was forced to work in order to provide for her family, and in order to cope with her financial difficulties between 1942 and 1948, she appeared in as many as 8 Hindi and Marathi films. Ironically, the song from her initial playback singing performance in the Marathi movie Kitti Hasal, 1942, was cut. She did, however, get her big break in 1948 with Ghulam Haider in the movie Majboor, 1948, and 1949 saw the release of 4 of her movies, Mahal, 1949, Dulari, 1949, Barsat, 1949, and Andaz, 1949. All 4 of them were huge successes, with their songs reaching levels of previously unheard popularity. Within a year, she had completely transformed the face of playback singing thanks to her exceptionally high-pitched singing, making the then current style of excessively nasal voices obsolete. Geeta Dutt and Samshad Begum were the only 2 lower-pitched vocalists to somewhat withstand her treble assault. She started out with a vocal technique that was similar to Noor Jahan, but she eventually transcended it and developed her own unique sound. The 2 of them were the queens of Indian playback singing into the 1990s. Her sister Asha Bhosle also rose to fame in the late 1950s. Her voice had a distinctively adaptable character that allowed music composers to ultimately push the boundaries of their imaginative endeavors. Even though every one of her songs was a smash right away, c. Ramchandra and Madan Mohan were the ones who gave her the nicest voice and gave her voice the most challenges of any music director. She continued to grow throughout the 1960s and 1970s, despite claims that she was monopolizing the playback singing business at the time. She reduced her workload, nevertheless, in the 1980s so that she could focus on her international programs. Despite a rapid rise in her fame, Lata only sometimes sings these days, but even so, her iconic voice can be heard in some of Hindi cinema's biggest songs, such as Veer Zara, 2004, Dilwale Dulhaniya Le Jayenge, 1995, and Dil Tu Pagal Hai, 1997. The ageless voice of Lata Mangeshkar cannot be replaced, regardless of whether female playback singer succeeds in any generation. She was a symbol that transcended symbols. The most